Before we get started, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and that bell notification. Thank you. Hey everyone, this was my recent trip to Orbit DVD in Asheville, North Carolina. I had quite a good time looking around in here this time. I just so happened to be working in the area and decided to just make an impromptu trip. And where we start at over here is the game side of their establishment. They have a lot of video games. I mean, they have more movies, but they have quite a bit. There's a Lollipop Chainsaw here. That's a pretty good price for that game these days, and a really good game. They had a lot of really good games around in here, that's for sure. Here's these posters. I know Tim with Tim Talks Talkies would really enjoy these. He'd have a good time digging through a lot of these. Here's a nice anime one for Caveman. A lot of video game ones. There's a nice Akira poster that was pretty good. I'm just not real into the posters. I've ran out of wall space and don't really have anywhere to display them, so I just don't really mess with them. But it was really neat just to get to see all the different kinds that they had. If you like things like Star Wars, like this one here, or as you've probably been able to kind of see, there's lots of anime in here. Star Wars anime as well, even. There's a lot of different stuff in here. There's some Batman. There's a lot in here for you if you're into that. I really dug this RoboCop one. I should have went home with that. Some more anime ones. I liked this too. This was really cool. I dug this as a gamer. It had all the main controllers on it. Just some more of their games. More games. We got they had, like, I guess this was a buy three get one, or buy one get three or something, buy one get one, but it was a bunch of sports games. And here's their movies section. The $4 each, or 5 for $10. Pretty good deal on those if there was stuff here that you dug. I didn't find anything this go round that I really cared to come home with this time. But if you're just wanting to come home with a nice stack and you still mess with DVD, there was probably quite a bit here for DVD that was worth picking up. I just don't mess with DVD too often anymore, unless there's not a Blu-ray of it. There was In the Name of the King. That's a video game movie. There's some Yu Yu Hakusho, some anime for my buddy Chris C, the slasher dude, and Caveman. They both like the anime. This one, definitely, I thought Caveman of this. He likes his animated DC films. And I dig Thunderbirds. I always remember watching that on G4 in the early thousands. So quite a bit of stuff. Some slip covers on their Blu-rays. I know Bob would appreciate those. Some TV shows mixed in there. Not really anything, like I said, that interested me too much. And there's some more posters over here by the door. Yeah, a whole bunch of posters over there. This is the video, the movie side, and this was the whole reason that I like to come here. I have video games more accessible where I live than movies. So this is what I like to come to Orbit for. Some more $6 movies. I believe these were the $10. This was the $10 wall, 10 and under. There was some good stuff here. A lot of common stuff that most collectors have, but not too bad. New York Ripper. Thought that was a pretty neat one to see there. A lot of people talk about that movie. I've never seen it, but I've heard good things. I remember Clown coming out. American made. Yeah. Here's their Criterion wall, which is just Blu-rays. It took me a little bit to kind of dig around before I realized that this was just a wall of just Criterion Blu-rays. There were no 4Ks there. But they had the new stuff, like the others, and I really like the Digi of Night of the Living Dead, but I already have the 4K, so I'm not going to go backwards to get the Blu-ray. There's too many Criterions to get the same one twice. And I don't have very many, so thought that this was a pretty good price for a trilogy. I don't really know what the price was on the website, but what Criterion usually sells that trilogy for. Fisher King, I've heard a lot of good things about that movie. Eraserhead. David Lynch, I hear a lot of good things about him, but I'm not sure I've seen a lot of his movies. Maybe some recommendations down below for some things I should check out by him. I would really appreciate that. I'm trying to broaden the horizon, and when you get into a store like this with so much different stuff under the sun, you just kind of get a little overwhelmed. Especially when you're in the store by yourself and no one to really like bounce ideas off of. They had a box of ancient anime. Didn't know anything about that. And a box of cheap anime. And then there's Studio Ghibli, which this was a really nice set. And I wish I knew more about this kind of stuff, because I really would have dug through it, but I just don't know much about it. So some suggestions down below for any of that kind of stuff as well. And this is just kind of where their base TV shows and Blu-ray movies start. And DVDs. They mix DVDs in as well. I think it's mainly DVDs that the Blu-rays are out of print or don't exist. DVDs that people may still be interested in, but they mainly just carry the Blu-rays for here now. Lots of good Kino Lorbers just mixed right on in. The new Blue Steel, that nice Vestron. I've not really dug too deep into the Vestron collection. I have a handful, but I'm a cheerleader. I watched that. That was a new movie I watched this year, not too long ago, on one of the streaming services. I watched that with my wife. That was a really good movie. I enjoyed that. Might have to look for that one again sometime. Like, remember that the next time that I'm actually going on purpose to shop. But I just thought it was neat because I didn't realize there was a Blu-ray of it. like I said, lots of Kino Lorbers, which was pretty cool. Death on the Nile. I always thought that Dark Knight trilogy was pretty good. Oh, Darby O'Gill and the Little People, and I didn't even. Oh, my mind was just moving so fast, trying to look at all the different stuff that they had, and there's just so many things, and I was really figuring that I was pressed for time because there's something that a lot of people don't really talk about. Now, you don't really need to worry about it if you're coming to shop for Orbit. You can just get a coupon, which you have to go in. You should get your coupon code and go into Orbit, and you can put that coupon code in your parking and get 1 hour of free parking. And I didn't ask until my 1 hour was almost up if I needed to get another hour or pay for my second hour. I thought that was funky that it was in a DVD case, that Green Lantern Blu-ray steelbook. That I didn't know they did a whole lot like that, so it just kind of stunned me. Into the Badlands. Yeah, that was a good price for that. Had a really nice slip. I shouldn't have put it back. It should have came home with me, I think. I'll find out soon if it should have came home or not. It's one that I'll be discussing in a future video with some friends, so. Josie and the Pussycats. Did not realize that had a Blu-ray. I double looked at that, mainly because I was looking to see if it had the PG version on the Blu-ray as well as the PG-13 version. The Legend of Korra complete series on Blu-ray, that was a really good deal. Under $20 on that. Yeah, lots of Kino Lorber. The Mallrats, that was awesome, but I knew it was a Blu-ray, and when I buy Mallrats, I just want to buy the 4K of that one. There's that Morbius. Night Shift, such a good movie. That I shouldn't have pushed that back in either. There were so many that I should have just not pushed back in, but there was no way I was leaving with everything. There was just so much good stuff there. Princess Bride, what a classic. The Simpsons box sets, I thought that was neat. I did not like the prices on those, but I'm sure they're rare. They were about 40 or 45 a piece. Did not like that Shang-Chi was 40. Thought that was a little much. But that might be on par. I'm not a big Marvel collector. Team America, love that movie. That's a fun time. Top Gun. There's a few people in the community that collect every version of Top Gun, and I felt like Orbit had quite a few different versions of the Blu-ray, because there was a couple more on the second shelf too. Tuxedo. I was surprised that had a Blu-ray. I did not know that. Yep, there was another one. I should have went home with that, because I think that was the 3D. And if I would have known that was the 3D, I probably would have came home with it. If I would have just, like I said, I was going through things so fast. I pointed out that 3D. There's just so much in there, and it's a little overwhelming, not gonna lie. More posters, which I know Tim will love. Tim Talks Talkies loves his posters. That RoboCop, that Night of the Living Dead, that was primo. My wife, I know she likes that Harley Quinn one. We have one pretty much just like it. That Stranger Things, that was very awesome. I really dug that. I knew my daughter, she'd probably like the Wednesday poster. There were some really good posters in there. And then we get to, that was a crown jewel. That was really heavy. That was a lot heavier than I thought it was. That was so beautiful. It's two full 180 gram waxes on on that Outer Space soundtrack. But they had a lot of really good wax here, that's for sure. Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Just some really cool soundtracks. If you're into wax, you would probably leave with a few. I'm into wax, but I don't know. I was kind of just there for movies this time. And one of these records probably would have ate up most of my budget. Because this was an honest, impromptu visit, so. But I just really like digging through everything. It's really hard to do that because it's such a big store. And I never get there at a good time of the day. This was the earliest I think I've shown up in store, which was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I showed up this time. Yeah, that Warrior soundtrack, that thing was beefy. The Waxworks, that was really cool. Video game record, I thought that was kind of interesting. It's kind of got a shot of their wall. They had the Barbie soundtrack. Their masks, I always dig their masks. They always have cool masks. Their clearance DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff, they're always off the chain. They always got a few little mixtures of things. TV shows, like that Psycho steelbook there, they got some steelbooks. This is their damaged shelf, and this is what I mean by, like, you get things worse than you get from Amazon sometimes. Like, that had a little crack in the case. That's an easy, just swap the case out, and you saved quite a bit of money on that. I believe that was $22 for that damaged Texas Chainsaw. That Wicker Man didn't even look damaged to me. So, I mean, maybe a few little things, but a lot of it was just clearance as well, and not even necessarily damaged. Like, I think the basket was just clearance, and they just mark it as damaged movies. And that was a Vinegar Syndrome slip that I put back, and I don't even really remember the name of it at this point. That's all the Region B stuff, and it's just Blu-rays. So, sorry guys, I didn't really look at it, but if you have a region-free player, there's a whole aisle of just movies that you can look at, and another half, like another half aisle of more imports, and you can get cool things like the Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 if you mess with imports. So, I do not, so I could not scoop those up. And then you get into your 4Ks, which they have a nice little section of 4Ks here for all of us enthusiasts. And they just mix everything in, which does make it nice if you're a format enthusiast and you're just there for 4K. You can just shop the two shelves and you'll get your mixture of Arrow and Criterion and Steelbook and Slip and just pretty much the mixture. I really dig that Color of Space Steelbook. But I have the slipcover and still have not watched it. And there's that City of the Dead that I keep touching and keep putting back. I need to check that movie out. That Dead and Buried was pretty sweet too. Had that lenticular, had a couple of the just standards. I really dig that Deep Red big box, but I already have the little one. And I just try not to be a package collector. I just get happy to have the movie. Yeah, that Freeway 2 is kind of nice. It was nice to see some Vinegar Syndrome kind of mixed in there too. I had heard good things about Freeway 2 from many others in the community. They said that both Freeway 1 and 2 were good. Exorcist 3. Should have scooped that. I watched that on Tubi for free not too long ago for the first time, and I really enjoyed Exorcist 3. I thought Brad Dourif did an amazing job in that movie. They had the new Killer Condom, the big talk of the town for Vinegar Syndrome a couple months ago, or last month possibly, but I dug it. I dug the fact that they just were dealing with some Troma stuff. Johnny's favorite movie, Kill Her Goats. Everyone knows that's Johnny's favorite. Invisible Maniac, that was a cool one. I Spit on Your Grave, the triple pack, that's a very nice box set there. They had the Mission Impossible steel for the new one. Last Action Hero steel book, that was very awesome. Malcolm X, Criterion, that's a very nice set. The Maniac Cop 2 and 3 and Maniac, those were, it was very cool. It's just very cool getting to just touch them like when you don't have them. That Mildred Pierce, Tim, I almost took you up on that recommendation, but $40. I'm gonna have to hit up the next Criterion sale, so it'll be about a half a year before I get to see Mildred Pierce. But maybe we'll get to talk about it in a few months in person. I like that Others import, and if I would have known that they were doing that, I maybe would have just got that studio canal, because I like that artwork, and I'm not a stickler for Criterion or whatever in that fashion. But I did end up trying to order the Others. I just have not received it yet, so I'm not sure if it's going to get canceled. I always thought that Princess Bride was real nice, that they did like the whole book. There's not a lot that do that in the 4K format. Psycho standard. I'm hoping I haven't missed out on that Psycho box set yet. Return of Swamp Thing, but I can't really get Return the Swamp Thing if I've not seen the first Swamp Thing, so those are going to be a few that I'm just going to have to look at. $40 for Soul is, it crushes my soul. The two Shrek movies, I dig that they're doing the Shreks on 4K, but I'm going to wait for a complete box set, especially if they're going to do a Shrek 5. The Other Scream, I really dug that was there. I've never watched it. I have seen all of the Wes Craven line though, so I really dig that they had all the Star Treks. And if I was going to buy any of the Star Treks, I'd get the First Contact, because that's my favorite one of the Next Generation movies. All the really awesome Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 releases that we've been fortunate enough to get on 4K. They had all of those in stock. That's very nice. Dario Suspiria. The price, I don't like the price, but not bad. The Swamp Thing was a little easier to swallow, but they have that nice Tremors big box. But I don't know if I can do the big box for 2 if I can't get the big box for 1. Zombie. Zombie was a very good transfer. That's worth the $40. I feel. I really like what they have here. Like when they do their holiday sections. The last time I was in, they had a Thanksgiving section, and the time before that they had like a Halloween section. And right now they have their Christmas. I do wonder if there's things here that don't really qualify for Christmas, and it's kind of like a jab. I don't really know. That's one of those, is it a Christmas movie type things that I don't really know if some of that stuff maybe doesn't classify. All the Amityville horrors. I know a lot of people in the community really dig those. Fun fact, until this year, the only one I had ever watched was the remake with Ryan Reynolds. And this year, for spooky season, I watched the original finally. And I really enjoyed it. They just have so much. It was getting very hard to to kind of film everything and just show everything. Being in person, there's the brain damage. I've heard good things about that. I've never seen it. there's just something about being there in person that me recording this I just couldn't grab. And it was really cool that they had all the Clash of Nukem Highs. I just really loved seeing Troma stuff on the shelf. I just really dug it. Because I don't have anything like this super local to me. This is about an hour and 50 minutes if I get very, very lucky with traffic. Yeah, there's Dead Pit. I hear a lot of people talk about that in the community. I've never seen it either. But because it's Asheville, the traffic can get really bad, so it could turn into like this time to get where I was getting close. There's Johnny's other favorite movie. For me to get where I was within driving distance of the store this trip, Drop Dead Fred. I wish I wouldn't have put that back. I really wish I would have grabbed that. I really enjoyed that movie growing up, and I slid it back in there and forgot about it. There's another one of those really good Vestrons. This is like their sci-fi-ish horror section. I really liked that book for Exorcist. I really dug it. I like the digibooks like that. Lots of those Friday sets there. I'm assuming because everyone got the Screen Factory bundle. Wanted to show off their VHSs. That's all their WWE stuff. And then their wall of tape. I'm not a tape guy per se. I have a handful. But for those that dig it, I respect it. I grew up watching them, so I'm not above it. Lots of just lots and lots of movies, and it's just really hard to film it all. And by the time I was this far in, I was getting real close to my hour, and then I went up to the counter to ask the guys, which I really dig those VHS slips too. That's why I pulled that crawl out. But I had to run up. See baskets and baskets of $1 VHS, $3 VHS. They have such good stuff. That was Needful Things. Monster Squad. They had the Blu-ray, but I don't think they had the new 4K there. And if I was going to buy it, I was going to buy the 4K because I already have what I consider to be a good enough Blu-ray of it. I love the movie, but that price on that Kino Lorber, I'll wait for a sale on that. I'm not a stickler to upgrade everything I already have, per se. So this is their box of hard to find, out of print, rare, one-off, numbered kind of stuff. They had some really, really cool stuff in here. I just had to step away because my budget did not really allow for me to look into that case too much this trip. Because I know that there were things in that case that basically started at like $60 and up. And that's fair for what was in the case. But here's some more 11 by 16 posters. They have a lot of these, which I know Tim Talks Talkies. He may dig these just because he may dig getting a bunch of different artworks that take up less space than full-size posters. Because I don't know where they get their artwork from, but they always have really cool slides. Last Christmas, I made gift bags for everyone in my family around like their favorite movie, and like bought frames and put these posters in frames and got them like the movie and a t-shirt to match. These posters were a win. They're really good quality. So I have tons of them all over the house, all over all of my friends and family's houses. Some cool discounted vinyl, for sure. Um, their posters, I really like that they do the Shout Factory posters. I don't know if they sell those on the website. I'll have to go back and look, because I was really excited about the Life Force. And then honestly, I just got to where I was running around the store some more. I went ahead after I filmed and did my shopping, and I just kind of spaced coming back and grabbing the poster tube, because I got just so taken with everything that you can see and is there. There's just so much really cool stuff underneath that roof there. Some beta tapes. They got a little box of beta tapes for any of you beta enthusiasts. And then they have their books, which I find really cool, because a lot of them are very movie driven books, and I know that a lot of people in our community really like books. North Carolina haunted places, I dig that, as being a North Carolinian. I dug that was on the forefront. There's really nice Maniac and zombie boxes. Whew, I really wish I had the dough for those. Just so much cool, neat stuff underneath this place, and the staff. The staff in this store is just they're so cool. Like I stood in there and just talked to them for a while. Like, so much so, I'm sure that they were like, "All right, guy, let's check out. Let's get you on out of here." So I definitely respect them for putting up with my chattering. But they didn't seem to mind. And it just seemed like they were happy to have someone in there that enjoyed movies to talk to. And now that we've made it back home, let's look at the haul that we got today. So, come home with a 3D. I usually always have to try to find one of those. So, Prometheus. Excited to check this one out. I haven't watched it. I was always very adamant about, I'm going to watch it in 3D when I do. And now I can. And then I picked up Season 1 of The Universe. I always like TV shows on Blu-ray, and I always dig History Channel type stuff anyways. So, my next one was a movie that I remember watching when I was probably like 13 or so. It's been quite a few years since I watched it, but Judgment Night. I do recall this being a good movie, so I'm excited to dip back into it, because it'll feel like it's a whole new movie to me anyways. Next up, we got Josie and the Pussycats. I have a preteen daughter. I'll probably have a good time watching that with her. I think she'll enjoy it, and I'll get a good memory out of it. And then ones that I watched with my grandma a lot growing up. She used to have the VHSs, and she even had the DVDs, I believe, as well. So I had to go ahead and add these to my collection. And if I remember correctly, I liked 2 just as much as 1. So they're both good movies. I mean, the cast is pretty much the same except for Macaulay Culkin. Well, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it for the Blu-rays that I have. So we're gonna go into the 4Ks that I picked up. The first 4K that I got is Wonder. I picked this up because when we were getting movies for our RV, we had our kids all pick out their own movie to take with us and keep stored there. And we just got some chintzy DVDs because we didn't really care if they would get ruined or not. But my son had picked that movie because he said he really liked it. So I was kind of hoping that I'd get to watch that movie with him. And I think that's what we'll end up doing. When I end up getting around to watching that, we'll watch it together. My next one that I got is, well, it's a Vinegar Syndrome. We went with Freeway 2. I recall, I believe it was Ken from Mid-Level Media had said that this one was just as good as the first one, and they were both really good. That he really enjoyed both of them. They didn't have the first one there, but they had this one, and they had the nice slip with it still too. So I really couldn't cry about that. It was in really good condition. And Vinegar Syndrome's had me wrapped pretty much ever since Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. So my next one is a 4K double whammy, and it's also my first Synapse film release, and that would be the double pack of Demons 1 and 2. I've not seen these before, but I like horror movies, and everyone that says everyone tells me this is a good one, that I need to see it. I've never ever heard anything bad about these. Everybody that likes them really likes them, and I've not heard anything bad. So, my next one is, I believe, my first Arrow big box. Not my first Arrow, but just my first big box, and it's for Waterworld. I grew up watching this movie so much that I'm sure we ruined more than one VHS tape. I always wanted this. It was just, I don't know, seeing it in person just really was like, okay, don't need to wait on ordering it. We can just go ahead and pick it up and bring it home with us. So it came home with us. And my next 4K that I got is another Arrow big box. It's also my first import that I'm a little upset that I didn't get the American one, but the Blu-ray was just too, the price difference was too much, and all I really wanted was the film on 4K. So and not a real big deal, but I just don't really mess with imports. I don't have a region-free player. But it's also my 250th 4K Blu-ray movie, and that is the big box edition of Wild Things. And I wanted this one because it had the really nice steelbook in it too. And like I said, I am going to miss out on the special features unless I get a region-free player. But I got the movie, and that's really all I really care about when it's all said and done. And the price difference was enough that I'm not really too worried about it. And that was all my movies that I picked up. And I did, while I was there, I did pick up a new game. I am currently trying to collect every red boxed PlayStation Hits PS4 game. Trying to get a complete collection. There's a total of 60 of those games. And this was number 20 for my collection. And it's a good game. I mean, I've played the game. I have it digital. But something about these red boxes, I'm really digging these. So that's gonna do it for my haul. This is the stack. Pretty good haul for an impromptu, unplanned visit to Orbit. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video and the tour of the store, and let me know if you enjoyed me doing a little pickup video. I don't think I'm going to do a whole bunch of those on here, but I figured I'd tag it to the end of my little tour. I figured everybody would be excited to see what I left there with it being such a big store and so much to choose from. I tried to think a little bit more outside the box, but I definitely kept it within just things that I knew that I would like for the most part. I didn't want to try to take any chances on anything that I might not like. So that's going to do it here for me today. Please make sure you hit that bell, that like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that, and I'll see you around.